Flosstube, I'm Amy. I am the Globetrotting Stitcher. Today is Sunday, January 17th, and this is episode number 15 on our Flosstube channel. I should probably say this episode has been brought to you by the letter P for productivity because I have had a very productive couple of weeks in my stitching thanks to some vacation time and to some encouragement from Gary to actually enjoy that vacation time instead of filling it up with the tasks that needed to get done. So I'm looking forward to sharing all of that with you. We are fully into the new year now and things are starting to get busy again as they do. So work is definitely getting much busier for me. Gary's been really busy with some projects. And we've had a little bit of doggy drama over the last couple of weeks. So our vet loves us. They see us, it feels like, at least once a week. So poor Bear and Sophie have both been having some problems with their paws and some tummy issues and blood work and antibiotics and all the things. But thankfully, everybody seems to be on the upswing now and feeling better. And so hopefully it stays that way. Before I get into the stitching, I wanted to just really quickly talk about a new to me Flosstuber. This is a couple that I discovered just recently, and they're not new to Flosstube. I think they're on they're like mid-30s as far as the number of episodes that they have filmed, but I just discovered them, and that is Stitch and Stuff. And so this is a mother-daughter duo, and I know the mom, I'm not sure if they live close by. I need to watch a few more episodes and get to know their work and get to know them a little bit better. But I know the mom actually lives in Central Washington, and of course I live in Western Washington, and we actually share the same LNS. So it's really fun to get to know them. They've got a really so they both film in separate locations, and then they've got the side-by-side video. And I really enjoyed watching them. They've got a lot of different projects going, and they've just got a really like conversational sort of tone. You feel like you're sitting in the room with them and just kind of a part of a conversation where you happen to talk about stitching and life stuff. So do go give them a look and check out their videos if you're not already watching them. I really enjoyed the video that I got a chance to watch recently. So moving into the stitching, I have had, as I said, a very productive couple of weeks, and that includes a couple of finishes, including a big one, but we'll save that one for the second thing I show you. I'm going to start with my smaller finish, and that is the May Cottage by Cottage Needleworks. So you guys might remember the last time we filmed, I was getting fairly close to a finish, and I had hoped that I'd be able to wrap up before the end of 2020, and that just didn't happen. But I put some dedicated time in during the week between Christmas and New Year's, and again, didn't wrap it up at the end of 2020, but did finish it during the first couple of days of 2021. So here is my finish on the May Cottage. I really, really love this. The colors are so cheerful and so pretty. And I've got all of most of my finishing supplies for this. So it'll be a couple of weeks probably before I get to do the full finish on it, but I'm really pleased with how it turned out. And these have been really fun to stitch. And so it's fun to be coming close to the end of my time with the cottages and having them all wrapped up. So May Cottage, Cottage Needleworks, stitched on 28 count mushroom Lugana with all of the called for flosses. All right. My next finish, if you follow me on Instagram, you already know about this. And this was a biggie. So is Celtic Autumn. And while I kind of get this lined up so I can show it to you, you'll probably remember the last time that I worked on this, or the last time we showed this to you, I had finished the woman and her dress, and so the only thing I had left to do was to finish the medallions on the side. And I knew it was only going to take me a couple of days to work on it. And I had posted about it on Instagram, and then Sarah, so one of our regular viewers, Sarah, who on Instagram, she is Stitch Addict, that's STYCH, and Addict. And she's from New Zealand, which I mentioned because New Zealand is one of our favorite countries. We love the time that we've spent there. So she had connected with me on Instagram because she's also been stitching Celtic Autumn. And she has been stitching it in as close as possible to the original, the charted colors. The actual original chart calls for the needle paints threads that are no longer in production. And occasionally you can still find someone who has them in their stash, and they're willing to give them to you for the small price of your firstborn child. But for the most part, those threads are no longer available. And so Sarah she had picked she did a conversion as close to the original colors as she could. And so she and I had messaged, and she said, well, I'm almost done with mine. Let's go ahead and finish them together. And it took about 30 seconds to think about it. And I was like, you know what, let's do it, because I'm a very structured person, and that was out of schedule for me. And so I was like, oh man, I'm going to have to flip my rotation. I'm going to do it. And so I'm really happy because I decided to go for it. And so without further ado, here is my finish on Celtic Autumn. She is stitched on 32 count Earthen Belfast linen by Picture This Plus. This is the Janet Granger conversion. And I used, of course, Mill Hill beads. The metallics are all Petite Treasure braid. There's a lot of Petite Treasure braid in this. I used the better part of 4 cards of Petite Treasure braid, so it's a lot of metallic thread. And one of the things that Sarah had said when we were talking back and forth on Instagram was just how much longer it took to finish this than you would expect. And I completely agree with that. These medallions are just so fiddly, but it's so worth it and so beautiful. So I'm really, really happy to have her done. I'm really excited to being able to display her next year. I am planning on getting her framed at some point this year, so she'll be ready to be displayed in the fall. If you have seen these framed up before, they can be a little bit tricky to frame, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to work with my usual framing folks to do this because the skirt overlaps the actual border. It swoops out over it. And so it actually throws the overall design off center. And so I've seen different ways of handling it. Sometimes people just frame wide and it looks a little weird that way. Other people have the mats cut so they go out around the skirt, which is probably what I'll do. But I don't think my framer is able to do that kind of fussy work with cutting out corners and things. So we'll just have to wait and see. But at any rate, I'm really happy to have this done and really, really pleased with how she turned out. I would also really encourage you to please go check out Sarah Stitch Addict on Instagram. I'll make sure I include her name in the description box so you can find her. She did really beautiful soft blues and yellows with this, and it was stunning. I really, really love the colors she chose. Her stitching is gorgeous. And so you should definitely go check out her finish because it was really beautiful. So that is Celtic Autumn. I think this was 86 days of stitching. I'd have to go back and check my spreadsheet, but it was right around that as far as actual stitching days.
It's 14.
14?
Days.
No. It was a lot more than 14 days of stitching.
Okay.
Excuse me. Okay, so that's it for finishes. The next thing that I worked on that I wanted to show you, let's see here. Okay, sorry, getting a little organized here. There they are. The next thing I worked on is my Rose Trellis Inn by Heaven and Earth Designs. And this one, my needles were on fire, you guys, the week that I worked on this. I was just making really great progress. And that is because I worked on this design the week between Christmas and New Year's. So my office was closed, I was off work, and I was finally past all the busyness of getting ready for Christmas. This year, because of COVID, we didn't host our normal New Year's parties, so I didn't have any party prep or anything. And so it really was a truly relaxing time off kind of week, which meant that I got to indulge in a lot of stitching. And so I might remember the last time I was working on this, I was partway through the window and I was working my way through that turret that is the top part of the inn. And so this is where I am now. I managed to finish, I think, something like 6 diagonals on this, and super, super happy with where I ended up. So I finished this whole window. I finished the better part of this pink panel. I'm moving my way across the top, and I'm starting to see some more of this this iron work, or this kind of filigree work, this decorative piece, because there's a roof line here for the inn. And then, of course, back to filling in sky and trees and such. But it's so pretty, and I love sitting and staring at it and seeing how it's all coming together. There's a little vase with some flowers sitting in the window here. And yeah, I'm really pleased. One thing I will say also is I'm hoping that I'll pick up the pace on this a little bit over the next couple of months. This section all through here was really, really heavy with the confetti. And so when I was working on it during the week that I was stitching on this last, I had visions because I was thinking, oh, I'm on vacation. I'm going to get like 1,000 stitches a day. I think the highest I managed in any one day was 800 stitches. And that was like one of the few days where I was just like, I'm not cooking, I'm not cleaning, I'm not doing anything. I'm going to wake up, have a cup of coffee, and stitch until I go to bed. And it took me that full day just to get 800 stitches because the confetti was so heavy. But that's okay. I love it. And I think it's totally worth it. I love how it turned out. On the subject of this piece, and for those of you that stitch full coverage, I have discovered a new product that I wanted to tell you about because it's been really helpful. So with this piece, particularly in the really heavy confetti sections, those of you who stitch full coverage will be familiar with this. Sometimes it gets really hard to actually put your needle through the fabric because it's just gotten so thick and so many threads back there that it's a little bit, I've developed raw spots in my finger sometimes after some time working on this. And so I thought, well, I'll try getting a thimble. And that's what I did. I just went to our local Joann's, picked up a thimble, and I realized immediately that it was not going to be a good solution for me. First of all, I bought one that was too big, so it kept slipping off my finger, but it just felt like it was in the way the whole time I was trying to stitch with it. And so I was like, okay, back to the drawing board. We need another solution. And I came across these. I'm going to put this down. Came across these. These are called thimble pads. I don't know if they have them. I would assume they have them at most, crafting shops or like a Joann Fabrics or something like that. I got these on 123 Stitch. These are fantastic. So first of all, these little pads they've got a great little adhesive on the back. And so all you do is you just stick them right over the spot where you get a lot of the tension or the pressure from your needle, and they absorb all of that for you. They are reusable. So at the end of the day, you just peel it off, put it back on the little pad that they provide you with here, and then you can stick it back on and reuse it the next day. And so this one little package should last me for months, if not longer. It doesn't slip off, it doesn't slide around. This was really fantastic, and I found that it did not interfere with my stitching or the way I needed to hold my hand in the way that having a full-blown thimble did. So if that's something that you struggle with, either just heavy confetti in a regular piece or in a full coverage, try giving these a shot. They were really inexpensive, and I feel like these are just like a great find for me. So let's see, the last whip that we have to show you is Gary's.
Can you get those on Amazon?
You know what? That's a good question. I'll have to check. I don't know. I would assume so.
Let's put a link in the...
Okay, yeah, if you can get them on Amazon, I'll also include a link in the description box for that. Good suggestion. Thank you, Gary.
Do I get a gold star?
No. You get a green star.
Do I get an 8th place medal?
No. No, you don't. You get a participation trophy. So the next whip we have to show you is Gary's. And this, you'll remember the last time that we filmed, this was a new start for him. He is working on I Love Fall by Cherry Hill Stitchery. He's stitching this on a 16 count, it's like a vanilla latte kind of Ada. And here he is.
Yes.
Okay, so this is where he is now.
Why are you showing me?
Just in case you forgot where you were. Here, let me move my
Here,
copy.
can I see this?
Yeah.
Here, let's get rid of that guy. Well, I guess not, right?
Here, I'll move to the side here.
No, it's okay. We did not rehearse. What is it?
Super awkward.
You think we got it now? Are you happy?
Yeah.
You can't see it. This is white thread, and I've had no trouble with any of the other thread. But if you use white thread on this fabric, you have no idea if you actually did the cross stitch. So I may have one or two extra cross stitches on this thing because you can't see that it's white. Anyway, it's it's fun to do, but I haven't done much lately because I've been working on a model that I built. I'll put a picture up. It's a tank. Anyway, so this is fun to work on, and I have to get back on it because I'd really like to finish before the end of January. But I have another model too. If you know about Star Blazers, then it's one of those things. Anyway, this is fun to do. It's for her, my wife, and I don't know if I should say anything else except it's this is where I am.
Can I add something? Just
no.
Did I think? Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, so I think one of the things that it might help for us to put a picture up of what it'll look like when it's going to be finished, because we've had to convert a lot of colors on this, because he was mentioning this pumpkin that's white. He's actually using B5200 just to try and get the white to even show up. I think we're going to have him backstitch it to give it that dimension, because all of the... Did you just shake your head?
No.
Yes, you did. He did, didn't he? So like this heart here and this pumpkin, there's 3 pumpkins in the design, and they're all supposed to be varying shades of white pumpkins.
It's not working out.
It's not working out. This heart was supposed to be white, and so we've kind of been converting colors on the fly just to make sure they show up on the fabric. So this will be a true Gary original by the time it's finished. But I'm really enjoying watching him work on it and how it's coming along.
Okay.
All right.
So that's that then.
Bye.
Bye. Here, wait, do this. There we go. You hold that? No, we're good.
Oh.
We're good. We're good.
What's happening?
Nothing.
Okay. So now that we're done with that, because I had 2 finishes, I got to have 2 new starts, and I'm really excited to share those with you. So the first one is not a whole lot accomplished yet, but that's okay because we'll get there eventually. And this is my final cottage in the Country Cottage Needlework series. So I have done 11 of the 12, and I have a little intruder over here. All right, so this is, I meant to bring a picture of what it's going to look like when it's finished, and I forgot to grab that. So maybe we can put that up somewhere.
Yeah.
Great.
Now.
No.
Let's pause.
Sorry.
It's up right now. There we go.
Okay. So this is the June cottage in the Cottage of the Month series by Country Cottage Needleworks. And again, stitching it on 28 count mushroom Lugana. As you can see, I've just almost finished the border across the top. A little bit of stitching left to wrap that up, but not a whole lot. And I'm starting to work my way down. I'm really excited to finally be finishing this series. I started it about 1.5 years ago. It's taken me longer to stitch through it than I thought it would. And that's mainly because these pieces are really quite small, and it's just, this is my travel stitching. So it kind of gets love when I have time. But I'm really, really pleased with these. I'm really enjoying being able to switch them out every month. And so it's going to be really fun to have the whole set to put out this year as we move through 2021. So yeah, that's the June Cottage by Country Cottage Needleworks. And my next new start, I'm even more excited about. because this is one that I have had kitted up for quite a while, and I've been waiting to, actually for over a year, and I've been waiting to start. So because I finished a Fancy Lady, I got to start a brand new Fancy Lady, and that is Royal Holiday by Mirabilia. I'm going to be stitching this with all of the called for flosses and colors and all of that. And I'm so excited to finally have gotten a start on her. So let me show you what she's looking like.
We should play Jeopardy music.
We should. We should. So here she is. I am stitching her on a 32 count Laurel linen. I believe it's by Witchelt, but I don't know 100% for sure. So I bought my fabric, like I said, over a year ago now, down at Acorns and Threads in Portland. And the way that Acorns and Threads puts their fabric out, the little tags that they put on, they give you the name and the count and the size, of course, but they don't tell you who the dyer is. So I'm kind of guessing based on a little bit of internet research, but I'm pretty sure this is a Witchelt fabric. It's just as solid, but one of the things when I picked this out, I knew when I was kitting this up a year ago that I wanted to stitch it on green, but I wanted to make sure I got the right green. And so I grabbed a couple different fabrics when I was at Acorns and Threads to kit this up. And did a floss toss, and I even grabbed some neutrals just in case I couldn't find a green that would work. Did a floss toss, and there was a lady who was in the shop at the same time as I was, and she was just like losing her mind because when I did the floss toss with all of the flosses on this fabric and showed her what I was planning to stitch, she was just like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. Oh, it's gonna look so great. JD, come look at this. It's gonna be so beautiful. So she was even, yes, exactly. Get everybody over here. So she was even more excited than I was. A couple of things with this piece. So you might be able to tell that I am stitching her skin 1/1. And I don't know about you guys, but when you stitch skin 1/1, like before you do it, you're like, oh yeah, it's totally going to be worth it. And then after it's done, you're like, oh yeah, it's totally worth it. When you're actually stitching it, the only thing you're thinking the whole time is, why did I do this? This is a nightmare. But I'm almost done with the 1/1 with her skin, and I'm really pleased with how it's turning out. One thing I will tell you is I did not, normally with Mirabilias and with lavender and lace, I haven't seen a lot of blends used in the skin. So I just went straight to town stitching the 1/1, and then as I was going, realized that the next color I needed to work was actually a blend, which surprised me. And so I was like taken aback for a moment because I thought, okay, it's a blend and I'm stitching 1/1, and I what am I supposed to do with 2 threads? And so I tried to see if I could find sort of a middle color to work with instead of the blend. That wasn't going to work. So what I decided to do was take the blend and just do 2/1 because my 1/1 is full cross. And so with the blend section, instead of doing full cross, I'm doing a half stitch. And that seems to be working well. Up close, it doesn't look like there are any extra thick places or anything like that. The one problem I ran into is the first section that I stitched with the blend. I sent the threads in the wrong direction. And you can't tell when you're looking at it head on, but when you're looking at it from the side, you can definitely see the way the light is hitting that section of floss differently. I don't want to frog 1/1, you guys. I really do not want to. I really do not. But I think I'm going to probably end up frogging out that one section just so it looks correct and doesn't look wonky. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. I'm still battling with myself. But at any rate, she's coming along beautifully. I think she's stunning. I cannot wait to get into her. The other thing that I will say, when you look at the design of what she will look like when she's finished, this cloak, all of that white fur that is lining the cloak, that's Whisper. This design calls for 3 cards of Whisper. So I'm stitching with the Whisper, and we'll see how that goes. I've stitched with Whisper before. I didn't have a bad experience with it, but I really want it to show up to be nice and fluffy and furry, so here's hoping. But at any rate, I'm really excited to be off to a good start with her, and so this will be my my fancy lady that you will be seeing for the next, hopefully, couple of months. Well, hopefully not more than a year. We'll see. Okay, so that's everything we have to show you as far as where we are with our stitching right now. I did want to take a couple of minutes just to talk to you about my 2021 plans. So I think by the time this video goes up, we will have released, Gary put together a wonderful retrospective video showing all of my finishes from 2020 and his finish from 2020, and then of course just the progress that we made. And so you'll have seen that, but we did want to talk a little bit about what our plans are for 2021. And admittedly, these are a bit ambitious, but what are plans if not ambitious? So this is in some ways a little bit easy because the way that my rotation works, as you guys know, I've got very specific spots in my rotation, and I don't start new things until something else has been finished. And when I do start something new, I narrow down the list of options to something that fits into that category. So it does kind of help me to keep a good momentum and be consistent in what I'm stitching. So as you know, with my new start that I just showed you on Royal Holiday, that will be the fancy lady I'm working on all through 2021. Experience to date has shown that it usually takes me about 10 to 12 months using the rotation that I use to finish a fancy lady. So I fully expect, as much as I would love to have her done in time for Christmas next year, I think unless a miracle happens, she will probably be wrapping up around Christmas as opposed to being done. So that'll be my fancy lady. Obviously, my rose trellis is going to be with me for several years to come. I've been working on that for almost 2 years, and I'm only just over 25% finished, so it's going to be a while. So that's what I'll be working on as far as my full coverage. When it comes to samplers, I am, as many of you have seen, I am working on the seasons, the various seasons samplers in the Loose Feathers series. So I've finished summer. I am close to a finish on autumn, and then once that is finished, I will take on the winter section. So that will be the next thing the next new thing I start in my sampler series. I think I'll probably have this full set done March, April timeframe. And so once that is finished, my plan is to start a sampler by Chloe Designs. Now, one thing I will say, the danger, and I'm beginning to understand how Flosstubers get so many new starts, because if you start kitting up a lot of things, then it's a lot harder to resist starting them. So I have a couple of things that I'm mostly or fully kitted up on that are not in my 2021 priorities. I just don't have time to do them, and it's really hard to resist. And so I have a couple of other samplers that I am ready to start, and I'm really struggling with the idea that I won't have time to even touch them this year without completely throwing everything out the window. So I found my planning process for 2021 a little bit discouraging when I realized, there's only a limited amount of time to stitch. And if I want to make progress on anything, I have to be really focused. But I'm excited to stitch this. I've had this kitted up for a couple of months now. And this is the Floralia sampler by Chloe Designs. I've been wanting to stitch something by Chloe Designs for a couple of years, ever since Brian Blitzstitch. He stitched the Corazon sampler a couple of years ago, and it was really, really beautiful. And so I have a couple of the Chloe charts in my stash. And so this will be the first one I stitch. Ellen Reed from Maximum Cross Stitch Power Hour, she stitched I think it was Glorious sampler last year, and it was magnificent, and they're huge. This one is 321 by 321, so this will be a long-term project. Okay, we've got let's see. I'm going to quickly go through what I'm thinking about for my travel stitching. So once I finish my June cottage, I'm going to bring in a new seasonal series that I want to work my way through in 2021. And these are the Seasons Pillows by Lila's Studio. So I've got winter, autumn, summer, and spring. So you'll see me work my way through those in my travel category. And then if I finish those, I am thinking about doing a couple pieces by Homespun Elegance. So delivering the trees and delivering posies. These are nice and small. I'm not totally committed to these at this point, but they're nice and small, and so they're a great choice for travel stitching. And then my last category that I will be working on.
4 years, this guy.
Right.
He comes out. He does this every day at 6 p.m. 4 years he does it. Today it's not even 2 o'clock.
Not even 2 o'clock. I'm rushing through because we have
there are 3 leaves.
We have a neighbor that he literally brings out his leaf blower a couple times a week at least to leaf blow everything out of his driveway, and he decided to do it right while we're filming. Not that he knows that, but
he knows.
He does not know. Go get him, Gary.
No way, man. No, he do his thing.
He's a nice guy.
It's just a curious time.
It's a curious time. He's a very nice guy. We like him. Anyway, the last category, and this is where I feel like I've probably been the most ambitious, so is my seasonal stitching. And with my seasonal stitching, as you guys know, or some of you know, those of you who watch me regularly know that what I try to do when I'm choosing my seasonal designs is to, instead of doing 6 Christmas designs in a row or 7 autumn designs in a row, because that's what's calling to me, I try to switch out, move from one season to the next and cycle through all of the seasons before I start a new piece in one particular season, just so I kind of spread the love, because I want to have pretty things out for all of the seasons. So as you guys know, I am working on Holiday Ribbons by Laura J. Perrin right now in my seasonal category. Obviously that's a Christmas piece. When that is finished, I'm planning to do Hello Fall by the Scarlet House. I'm going to do a color conversion on this to colors that are a little bit more autumny in my opinion, but this should be a quick stitch and I really love it. When that is finished, I am going to stitch Will You Be My Valentine by Thistles. This was something that Gary got me last year for Valentine's Day and I love it. And so I think this will be a really fun stitch and I'm looking forward to working on it. After that, I'm going to do some spring/Easter stitching. So I'm going to head back to my Easter parade to finish up the little basket. And I had wanted to do this last year when I finished the bunny, but I really wanted to get into my Christmas stitching, and I knew that if I tried to do this, it would push that out by a month. And I wanted to do Christmas stitching during Christmas. So I am going to do this because it should be a quick finish. And then I am going to do another full-blown spring piece right after that, which will be Spring Delivery by Plum Street Samplers. This is one that I had wanted to do last year. I ordered my fabric for it in June. It still has not arrived. So I'm not angry. So this I plan to do in my spring stitching this year. For summer stitching, I'm planning to do my first filigram. I'm going to stitch Honey Fields. There's a companion chart to this that's also really cute, really similar, that I really would like to get and stitch to go with it. Looking at just how many years it would take me to actually stitch through what I have to get to it. We'll see. I don't own that chart. But for this year, at least, I want to do Honey Fields for some summer stitching. And then finally, if by some miracle I got through all of that in 2021, my next seasonal design would be Welcome Winter by Filigram. And this is another one you saw recently. Gary gifted this to me. I can't remember whether it was birthday or Christmas, but just gifted this to me within the last couple of weeks. So really love this and want to stitch on this. So that's my ambitious 2021 plans. We'll see how much of.
Where's the one I'm gonna start?
I didn't remember to print that one off, but we can put up a picture of it.
So we're not even gonna talk about it.
No, we are gonna talk about it. I was just getting to that.
No, you were not.
I was. I totally wasn't. Do you want to tell the people?
Well, hey, it's your show.
It's our show. Okay. So when Gary finishes I Love Fall, he has another design that he's going to stitch. So you guys know that classic, it's like a totally classic Batman image of Batman slapping Robin. He's going to stitch that. And so we have it all kitted up and ready to go for him. And then when he finishes that, I think we have to settle which design. I think we have a couple of ideas in mind of something else that he wants to do, but I don't know that we've firmly settled which one it's going to be.
You haven't firmly settled. That's all I have to say about that.
I doubt it. Anyway, so that's what Gary kind of his impending plans. He's got a couple of pieces that he's looking to do. So yeah, that's our long-term plans for 2021. I think we've got some ambitious goals, but I'm really looking forward to a fun year of stitching and sharing all of that with you. So as far as immediate plans, what are we going to be working on between now and the next video? I'm going to spend a week working on my loose feather sampler, the autumn section. Really trying to push that one. I'm not going to be close enough to get it fully. I'm not going to be able to finish it this next time I work on it, but I think I can push it right up to only needing a couple days to get it done. So we'll see. But really, really enjoying that one. And then after that, I will spend a week working on Holiday Ribbons by Laura J. Perrin, which is my counted canvas piece. The next couple of weeks at work for me are going to be really, really busy. I've got a couple of projects going on that are going to require phone calls at night, phone calls early in the morning. And so I think some of my normal stitching time is going to get cut into. So we'll see how much productivity I'm able to achieve in the next couple of weeks, but fingers crossed. And then of course I will also be working on my June cottage as time allows. And Gary's going to continue plugging away on I Love Fall. I'm also hoping that I will be able to do some FFOing. I have a couple of projects that I've got all of my supplies for, and I'm ready to get to that stage in the process. So we'll see if I can find some time on weekends to get to that. So I think that covers it for us today. We hope that you guys are all well. We hope that 2021 is being kind to you so far and that things continue to improve for all of us. I think that's it. So if you like this video, of course, please do give us a like. We would love it if you're not already a subscriber, if you'll hit the subscribe button so that you can, so that we can appear in your feed every time we put out a new video. As always, we really enjoy reading all of your comments and interacting with you and hearing your feedback. If you would like to get a notification when we post a new video, you can go ahead and hit the little bell and YouTube will send you a notification. And you can always send us an email at globetrottingstitcher@gmail.com or follow me on Instagram. I try to post my progress on a weekly or bi-weekly basis so you can kind of see what's going on between times. And I think that covers it. So we will chat with you soon. In the meantime, take care, stitch on all the things that give you joy, and we will see you really soon. Bye-bye.